GM, everybody. Bratoshi says GM boys on the live stream. What is good, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday, man. Already almost halfway through January. Felt like it was New Year's literally yesterday. It's kind of crazy. The migrations keep us busy, to say the least. RIP to Mr. Scott Adams, a good visionary. RIP, man. Went out brave as fuck, literally doing a stream literally up until a few days before his death. So unfortunate news there. Yeah. And that's is that what everyone's gonna be doing? Live streaming their death, essentially, heading into the future. Really? Right? It's kind of interesting thing to think about at the end of the day. But how are we feeling today, guys?
Man, just there's so much happening. It's crazy. Not only in the world, but with us. It's hard to keep up, bro. I think we talked last week. I had a talk with our lead dev, Shannon, just about just trying to wrap my head around everything that's going on. It's incredible. Kind of on the down low, I've been using this, platform that he's built on the back end, comparing it to other kind of dev platforms where I put in the same prompt. And bro, it's fucking great, man. I tried one the other day. It popped on my timeline. It's like doanything.com or whatever. And I was like, well, this is like a team. They've raised money, to do it. And I put in the same prompt and hustle, what Shannon's built on the back end is actually like better. It actually got stuff done.
You talking about the vibe code stuff?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I was like, holy cow, man. Like, dude, how many products do we have to have? Like, it's nuts, man. Like, this is a company, like a legit, they've raised millions of dollars to build, basically a vibe code app agent that runs in the background, processes your emails, whatever you want it to do. You just give it a task and it goes. And dude, ours is better. Like, how crazy is that? Like, it's fucking insane. And I didn't even really start into like, well, what we can do with the Web3 stuff. I was just doing simple, build me a little mini app that lives on my phone. Right. And bro, it's crazy, man. I'm just, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it's actually going to be a major trend, being able to essentially vibe code on top of your SDKs. I could see people and teams, even outside of crypto, adopting that at some point here in the future. But Chris, how are we feeling today?
What's good? What's good? Have some allergies, so a little rough, but feeling good, man. Hung out with the boys Claude this weekend, so got a lot of Claude work in. Just vibe coding, just a bunch of different things that we can, so you can see like the power of it. But I think that, everyone thinks of vibe coding as 0 to 1, but I don't think enough people are thinking about like vibe coding as what it means for a company like ours and how it just increases efficiency across the board and is able to kind of like take your products to the next level without, scrapping everything and starting from 0 once again. So feels like, you're kind of like starting on third base here, and then, with the latest advancements and all the software can really get you to that home plate pretty quickly.
Exciting times. And we do have an AI team with us. We can dive into all of the fun stuff. But first and foremost, before we do, let's check in on our migration cohort that the first team, Trisig, is about to end in 50 minutes or so. We've got pretty even kill across the board. Ubi's up at top at 58%. And then Trisig and Ori Hosika. We got the DuckAI team with us with the longest migration going into February. But overall, a pretty great experience. And almost all of them ending, 8 of 10 of them ending next week on the 20th. So that'll be a fun day for us. But without further ado, here with Duck Labs, we've been talking with them for actually a few months about a migration and learning. And I'm excited to actually learn more about the product and the team. So would love to say hello to, is it OX Glue who we have here on stage with us?
Yeah. What's going on? Thanks for having me. Here from DuckAI. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, brother. First and foremost, dude, what do you think about vibe coding before we dive into what DuckAI is? You think it's the future of development, allowing retail to use AI to basically build applications, front-end websites, and then maybe even eventually back-end?
Yeah. I think the gap between it's tough because like after 3 or 4 days of vibe coding an app, you have to like fix the browser and I mean, models are getting better and better. So, but I think it is fun that like the people get to enjoy what like we software devs have done for way back when you made your first website, or I mean, we back in high school, I guess I'm dating myself, but we were making, apps and websites and stuff. And like, it's cool to see people get that feeling and whatnot. So like they can have a lot more freedom to like do stuff, whether that turns into scalable apps or not. And everyone, has their own software and they retire the bloodline. I don't know, but at least like people can enjoy software a little more.
Hey, we're all millennials and Gen X here on stream and on the show. So no worries about Dayton. We all want to go back to the early mobile days where we could just build applications straight out of iPhone 1 and become millionaires, right? But
when you mentioned building websites and stuff, bro, I'm old enough to remember GeoCities. None of you guys use that for sure, dude. I was at like an internet cafe. You had to go to a cafe to like use the internet, man. That was back in the day. I think in a lot of ways it's just a matter of like what vibe coding is kind of very similar to that. But it's just this idea that to obfuscate the whole entire thing. And so, I'm sure us kind of vibe coding apps will be as silly as me, down at an internet cafe building my first website, right? It'll be stupid, and we'll look back on it kind of like this is all very like quaint stuff, right? Well, in the future, it's just like you just ask for what you want, and then it's just there, right? That's kind of the end goal, kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I agree as well. Well, Glue, give us the backstory on DuckAI Labs. You guys have created something that's called the Open Pond AI network, which is turning your wallets into autonomous trader. You also have Ask DuckAI, and then obviously you have DuckAI Labs. So building a suite of products, which seems to be the trend across many AI companies because they're all kind of interconnected in some capacity. So please give us the details on what DuckAI Labs is and a little bit of the history.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I've been working with AI startups since maybe 2020, 2021. And then, yeah, just also in parallel working in crypto. That was kind of my first love right out of college and whatnot. So, yeah, really just in 2024, Crypto Influence, he's not in here. I think he's on the DuckAI. Him and I were just kicking around ideas, and I was like, let's try to figure out what AI and crypto would look like. So that was mid-August 2024. And then we launched one of the first applications where you could, pay in crypto and get access to, it was like GPT-4 at the time. Maybe O1 just came out. I can't really remember the timelines, but yeah, it was a pretty good app, and that chat app has, survived at the DuckAI.ai website. Still to this day, we actually have just a pretty generous free tier, so we don't actually charge on that, but it's really just, you can try out the models and whatnot. And we're working on kind of integrating the DuckAI token more and more into that. And then, yeah, Open Pond is our kind of our platform for deploying strategies autonomously. So kind of giving you a serverless environment with a private key that's secure with turnkey. And then you're able to kind of vibe code with our, open source package, kind of anything that works with like Hyperliquid, Polymarket, any of those things, run it on a cadence, run strategies, run different bots, search Twitter for stuff, kind of all in one, and then, deploy it right from the app. So that's kind of just the back-end plumbing that the Ask DuckAI ticker that we have. We've experimented a lot with different tweets it's sending out, different strategies it's running. So yeah, really just excited this year to launch that platform to production, and then really ramp up the Ask DuckAI Twitter account, and then kind of, update that, kind of the token environment with the chat app. And this migration is going to help a lot with that.
As I explore the DuckAI chat and the website, you guys have a full suite of different types of products. You have a handful of LLMs that are integrated for a local first type of chat. Local LLMs seem to be catching a little bit of traction here. You have X402 enabled. There's trading and cloud hosting. How do you even go about trying to, market this to the crypto community with, it's a lot of buzzwords, but it's a lot of cool technology. And it seems like, there would be a lot of traction here. We also have Hustle, our Hustle AI terminal. So I'd understand the complexity of it. And it seems like we're still so infinitely early because there's barely any users here, but the empowerment of the technology is so vast. What is the primary focus here for DuckAI? Is it to get people trading? Is it to do local agents? Is it agent to agent interaction through X402, or something I'm missing here?
No, definitely, that's a good point. Yeah, that chat application, it's seen a pretty consistent amount of users since we've had it running. So we've kind of just kept it running. It's pretty. The models we use are like relatively cheap. I actually just looked. I have to update to the new GLM model, but yeah. So that was really. It's a pretty good funnel. It's got decent SEO because of DuckDuckGo. So we actually get a lot of our traffic from DuckDuckGo.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess they tried an AI thing, but if you type in DuckAI in DuckDuckGo, we generally pop up. So we haven't had to do much um, kind of I don't know. It seems like they fought back a little on it. And they're trying. But yeah, so that was kind of the original impetus, and I think a lot of people found it through that. So we just kind of have left that running, and that's just local first. So it's kind of yeah, and really what we're very much focused on is providing as much automation as we can. So that's kind of what we kind of wanted to carve that niche out. So beginning of last year was when it really started, this kind of open palm platform, just the back end of running like, hey, okay, we know that we want agents to control wallets. How do we do that? And so that was kind of like our whole idea behind it, and just building on making a sort of Vercel like platform where everything's kind of a few clicks and easy, but where you have a wallet backing it up. So yeah, we kind of look at DuckAI and Ask DuckAI as our kind of premier agent that tweets his opinions on Twitter, kind of does all that sort of marketing and whatnot, and OpenPod is kind of our back end to kind of host those agents.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, it looks like the DuckAI agent. He hasn't tweeted in a few days, but is he just he's just autonomously trading perps? Is what it looks like.
Yeah, so that is a strategy on Hyperliquid that he's trading. Just a simple like moving average strategy, and it rebalances like every 10 minutes. The strategy is still running. The Twitter decided to go down, and I haven't fixed it recently. So yeah, it's just it's also because it's kind of still in development, so it goes down and up and whatnot. But yeah, there'll be some Polymarket strategies in there too, and he'll eventually evolve to kind of form his own opinions and write his own trading strategies with the AI, so that he can say like, oh hey, this news event happened, let me go write a strategy for that and deploy it.
So here on Open Pawn, it says turn your wallet into an autonomous AI trader, and then at the bottom it says vibe code your way to financial freedom. What is like the target application for users to build? Are they coming in here and they're just creating specifically an agent to interact with the wallets, or are they building full on applications themselves that could be hosted, through a front end kind of back end interface?
Yeah, so we went full back end. So we made an open tool as like our open source repository that just makes it super easy to work with turnkey. And then our model, we're working on fine tuning a GLM to actually write this code better. So what we do is when you chat with our open tool builder, you type in what you want, and it's really good at writing this specific open tool code that happens to be really good at deploying on our infra. So in about 30 seconds, you can type in a prompt like, I want a Polymarket agent to watch Trump's Twitter and see if he tweets about Maduro, and then go on Polymarket and buy yes or no. So that's sort of what you can type in, and then 30 seconds later you get a full serverless app that's specific to your wallet that you can then just let it run. So that's kind of the experience that we're going for.
What's the adoption been like so far? I know, as I mentioned earlier, across all crypto AI products, there's maybe a few thousand users. You would think, based off of the way that AI has progressed in the real world, right, that would be in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of users. But it has not really translated, maybe because crypto natives are very stubborn and they like to kind of stick in the traditional platforms, and it's very hard to change user behavior that has network effects. But so on and so forth for where you are today, where's the main use within your product suite?
Yeah, definitely. So we've been in beta probably since August of last year, the most, I guess, stable version. But yeah, we've just been working with kind of a small group of testers to just refine and until we can have an application that is as easy as typing in a few things and getting these autonomous agents that, like, Crypto Influence and I have always wanted this sort of application. So we're kind of just building that. I think one of the things that's going to open up crypto to more people, I guess, some hopium is kind of the hyperliquid and the HIP-3 and all these different ways to trade stocks and assets that you couldn't before. So now you can earn yield. Now you can have an entire life on on chain, which we already know. You can use Aave and you can use all these different things and whatnot. But I think, yeah, it's just kind of pushing the needle on, for us, it's, can I build a strategy that, instead of going to, my 401k and selecting kind of a strategy that's like, rebalance this portfolio every year that only gives me like 1 or 2%. Can I write some AI code that will, do that across Aave, across Curve, and then, be able to buy stocks, buy, the S&P and whatnot when that all comes on chain. So I think that's kind of the impetus for us, is like, we see that like crypto, less so calling it crypto, more just hopefully it just merges into finance. And I think that's where the adoption comes from. So
Yeah,
I think 2026 is gonna be a good year for that. Yeah.
Well, I'm hopeful too. It's funny though, like in the last year, obviously we're building kind of very similar direction, both you and Emblem.
Yeah.
I remember like a year ago trying to be like, hey, literally, I don't know how many I DM 20, AI teams building basically AI agents, and was like, hey, do you want to give your agent a wallet? And everybody was like, no. It was like there were 0 people interested in wallets back then. And even still today, it's like there's just very little, there's almost none like agent to agent stuff. Still really early. Early then that we know it's going that way, right? But there's not really the activity yet. How do you kind of hold that together, or keep a vision of where you think it's going, and then just hold on long enough to kind of for the world to catch up? Like, what's your strategy there?
Say a prayer every morning and just hope people. No, we went into my answer to that is we kind of went into private agents, so less so on the X402 and kind of agents working together. And I just personally want a fleet of agents that are private to me, that I can run strategies and run updates on my personal finances, as opposed to kind of the crypto. I think we tend to talk about decentralization as this kind of amazing thing that everyone wants, and sometimes people don't want that. Sometimes people just want some automation with a wallet. So I think that's kind of maybe a coping answer or whatnot that I would say is yeah. And I think, interest rates are coming down hopefully this year more. Crypto changes in a few weeks and then everyone's back on and everything's fine. So you just never know when that week comes, but you just got to keep building. And then when it comes, you got to be ready.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sitting here exploring the chat agent. So the chat agent doesn't have any crypto capabilities, it seems, but the Open Pond platform is what's connected to Turnkey and all of the backend infra. Do you have that right?
Yeah. So the chat's really just a chat. We used to have it much more integrated with, you can pay in crypto and stuff. We didn't see really a lot of adoption, so we just kind of decided to offer it for free, and would rather have kind of some reoccurring users than try to shoehorn too much crypto in there. So leaning more on the privacy with that. And then Open Tool is more of the back end, because we needed a kind of a professional back end that works and doesn't fall over and whatnot, and that other people could use. So
yeah, no problem as well. So where does the DuckAI token play into all this, and what's the thoughts about, I guess, maybe your mindset behind migrating from its current position to migrating to Iridium CPMM, where it's all self-contained and you can kind of vertically integrate it as you please?
yeah, definitely. We're really excited about that. Like, just having, the fees occurring back to us rather than just to pump fund, like that's a huge unlock. And really just for the actual token itself, just weaving it into the actual chat platform, so you can start accessing it through the chat. We're working with various models and ideas in our head about how we can best align like the AI agent and the strategies that he's taking with the holder base. So yeah, this is kind of the first step to realize a lot of that. Getting control over the mobility of the agent. Potentially, we talked about cross chain, but that could happen way down the line. It's still in thoughts of that, but yeah, really just step one, get it, paying in DuckAI to kind of access the chat and access more of those features. And then as OpenPond comes more online, kind of merging it with that. So, the agent is running and you can interact with the agent directly on that Twitter and with his specific strategies and whatnot. And then, kind of use OpenPond to launch your own. So yeah, we're excited about the future.
Have you guys paid for this entire experience on your own? Do you guys have any venture capital backing or investors, or how have you gone about this process? Because building AI is not cheap. Inference is quite expensive. And again, we're kind of still early, which maybe we'll dive into next.
Yeah, actually, I probably have like 5 more minutes. Sorry, I have another meeting, but I meant to say that. I just looked at the time, but yeah, I guess we have just been relying on. In terms of funding, no, we haven't had any funding. It's really been self-funded by Crypto Influence and I, just through trading and kind of just being in crypto. And then I advised for some other AI startups. And then in terms of making it with AI, I have a Codex subscription. That's about the only one. Everything else is all the inferences run on with GLM. A lot of the Chinese models are like very cheap and very good. So yeah, that's kind of how we're surviving.
Yeah, stuff is quite expensive, but if you're using the open source models, then you can get to where you need to until inference scales in the next few years to where everything is quite cheap. Because I have seen some of the stuff. We use Claude for the most part in our backend, and inference cost is expensive, but it allows them to initiate on-chain transactions of all different complexities. We've tried with different models, but it does not do as well as Claude. But I suspect over the next few years that that will change. Chris, any final questions for Glue before he leaves?
Mine was just mostly around kind of experimenting with the bigger models, but it sounds like you just go pretty much open source on everything. Maybe internally, what are your thoughts on who, if anyone wins the model wars? What does it look like at maturity? Are you more of a Grok fan, Claude fan, Llama fan, GPT fan, or what do you think is kind of who's going to have the breakout of the year? And what do you think that what do you think the models that are powering these things look like a year from now?
Yeah, I mean, 2025 was insane. I think, my favorite models are whatever lab gives us the cheapest. As long as we're in this great mode of just.
I think you rug.
We might have
lose him.
Super cheap.
Oh, yes.
There, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, just back with we had Uber. It was super cheap because it was VC subsidized, and then it got really expensive. So I think we're in this great area where you just need to use as much subsidized tokens as possible.
Totally.
And just spend every day maxing out the amount of tokens. And then, yeah, I'm bullish on, the Chinese labs are, and I think different models I'm excited to see different models for different things. I've even used a tiny 10 billion parameter model to kind of do, small tasks, or I even have a super tiny voice recognition model on my computer now. That's so I don't have to type. So I think we'll see some cool smaller models come out, because you really don't need the big model for everything. That's 100%. There's a lot of stuff that can be updated and changed and whatnot, and you don't need to max out Claude every time for hey, read this file. So
yep.
Yeah. It's a tough balance. We'll let you go, man. I appreciate you, Glue. Look forward to following the adventure. And also, the migration. You know, you're going to be with us on the platform for another 3 weeks. And so I'm going to ensure that great migration happens and you can begin the next chapter.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for everything.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right.
Flock up, boys.
Flocka. All right. Maybe we'll get into some market discussion here. DuckAI, man, it's always great talking with different AI projects because it seems like everyone is building in the same direction, just different starting points. I mean, we've been saying this for over a year at this point now, but it becomes new or it becomes more true every day. Dossie Doe, BTC says, hustle as a Department of Defense tool for intelligence and war been discussed, like Palantir. They want us to turn hustle into Palantir. I would also like the hundreds of billions of dollars of market cap too. That would be pretty nice, to say the least.
It is interesting, however, you know, builders thought the mind share kind of moves in similar directions. I mean, we see it all the time with what Shannon's building or doing. And he tells us about something, and the next day it's on the timeline because OpenAI just did it too and released theirs, right? And it's like you just see. I mean, I've had that idea, and a lot of people have that. The ideas are out there. It's just which teams and people can bring them to life, right? In a meaningful way or a way that kind of penetrates markets. That's really the actual difficult thing. Building now with AI and stuff is so, in theory, easy and is only going to ramp and get easier and easier. The difficult thing is, well, how are you going to build something that the market actually wants? And how are you going to communicate that to the market and actually get something that gets traction? That becomes just exponentially more difficult as more stuff hits the feed.
Yeah. I'm just more convinced we're building in the right direction day by day. Maybe we'll dive into some of the EDP stuff here in a second, but two pieces of news this morning. It seems like M&A is going to just continue on at a much larger scale, which was one of my predictions. CoinGecko apparently is weighing a sale for around $500 million. I don't know if anyone remembers CoinMarketCap, I think, sold for 200 or 300 million to Binance a few years ago. So it doesn't say here who it is, but they are getting ready for that sale. I love CoinGecko. They've definitely, I think, dethroned CoinMarketCap, as CoinMarketCap makes you pay $5,000 no matter what. So they've just basically pillaged the entire thing. And then Polygon apparently is acquiring CoinMe, which has been around for a little while. It's buying and selling crypto with cash. And then they also bought something called Sequence, modular crypto infrastructure for chains. And it's now a Polygon company. Man, what's the thoughts on just acquisitions? Is this because all of the VC funded companies are not going broke, and so the VCs are telling their portfolio companies they need to acquire each other to basically save face and capture some value? Or is it that there is actual interest in some of these companies and these projects that are revenue generating or try to take a lead on the market? One of the final things I'll say here is I saw yesterday, and I'll try to find this while someone is talking, Blockworks basically has moved and pivoted from being a news company to an analytics company. And they posted something yesterday about crypto venture capital has been just basically on a decline since 2021. And then M&A has been on an increase in the last year and a half or so. So that just leads me to think that all these VC companies are just going broke now and getting acquired.
I'd say it's a more favorable regulatory environment has been the main driver. If you think about it, like the idea of acquiring a crypto native company a year ago would have been like insane. Like we saw 0 acquisitions a year ago, right? So I think it's that combined with tokenization of everything. Everybody knows it's coming. And so, you know, the smart money's moving. I don't know how much money, you know, Polygon has sitting in their, you know, fund there, but I'm sure it's a couple billion, and they just, you know, I think it's smart. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. I think it's smart to just lean in now when you could probably get stuff for cheap. I was actually just listening to the All In pod, and I think it was maybe Chamath was saying this is going to be his prediction for the year was just tons of ICOs, just a more favorable regulatory environment. Also, just the idea of just bypassing kind of acquisitions completely. And obviously we've seen that with what like Meta's done and stuff, where they're just like acqui-hiring these guys, buying the IP, not considering it an acquisition. And that's done basically to avoid the years of regulatory requirements, right? And so, yeah, it's consolidation, and it's great. Like this is good, you know. And I think there's going to be more of it. It's going to be a great year, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to ramp up. Interesting to see that those were Polygon's acquisitions.
Yeah.
I would think that maybe they should be saving and trying to buy Polymarket or buy something that would enhance the Polymarket experience and kind of wedge them further into the Polygon ecosystem. But maybe those are directionally there. I don't know, but
or just partner with Polymarket, like give fucking Polymarket half of your fucking treasure or all your fucking treasure.
that would be my strategy. But apparently their headspace is somewhere else, so we'll see how that plays out for them. But they have a winner. I would be focused on maintaining and keeping that winner somehow in some capacity. I don't know if that's what they're doing, but it does concern me that they're kind of seem to be looking somewhere else when they have the biggest app in crypto, and I don't even know that they're paying attention to it, and they're at a pretty big risk of losing it from a lot of the conversations that I've at least seen on the timeline. So will be interesting, but I think that, you know, there's such a limited amount of viable acquisitions in crypto. There's got to be like 100 acquirable companies maybe that do literally anything, at least anything significantly. So yeah, I think that just, you know, and I think vibe coding puts another stake in that, right? Like how many of these apps can just be vibe coded? You know, they didn't do anything to begin with. They never had any users to begin with. How many can you just restart from the ground up? Instead of, I think the check sizes will get a lot smaller. I don't think that you need $50 million to build a crypto app anymore, or whatever it might be. But, you know, I think that it really is just going into the era of, you know, these companies that have pillars. They have the distribution, they have maybe a small fund or a small treasury, and then they also have not just a vibe coding, you know, section of their company, but also real developers. And I think if you have kind of all of the prongs, I think that you have the best chance of being successful basically right now than any other time in history. And I
It's
think that's
interesting
cool.
you said that too. It's like, because, you know, you could build a CoinGecko. It's not, they're not like some super thing, but the reach they have, right? The kind of mind share is what you're basically paying for that, right?
For sure.
And it's been an interesting few days of different crypto events. I saw yesterday that Eric Adams launched a New York City scam coin. I don't know how these still happen. Like this feels like it's like 2-3 years too late. It's like the Japanese in the forest after the war has ended, and somehow these scams are still happening. That was kind of interesting to say the least. On the other side of the political spectrum, you have the Clarity Act apparently is getting ready to be reviewed here pretty soon. Cynthia Loomis, who actually is not running for re-election, says the Clarity Act is a culmination of thousands of hours of bipartisan negotiation on market structure. Every section includes bipartisan input, and I look forward to working with my Democratic colleagues to deliver a bill that secures America's financial future. Is the Clarity Act priced in? Is a big question. Do we think that if that passes or makes significant movement, crypto continues to pump? Or are we in this kind of era of stagnation that was similar to the post.com bubble, where users of the internet, I think they increased tenfold, but the price stayed stagnant for almost 5 years before any stocks and anything rebounded?
You want to take that, Chris, first? I mean, for me, go ahead.
Yeah. I you know, it's hard because these things are so reflexive. You know, a lot of them have hard cap supplies. Can you manipulate the token supply to some extent? Sure, maybe, but it's not like you can just issue stock, you know, willingly. So I think the hard cap supply, I think just like the general demand dynamics of the industry are that it's just kind of built for like short, like upward momentum at more than just like stagnation. I think it's interesting that Cynthia Loomis is not running for re-election. I didn't know that personally.
Just cashing that check, bro.
Yeah, maybe
just like
she made that and she it paid off. So that's interesting. But I think the Clarity Act is the biggest test of how much political capital the crypto industry has. And so can we just get it passed within, without months and months of deliberation? I don't know. We'll have to see. But that's why I think that these things are never priced in, because you never know when they're actually going to happen, because everything in Washington seems like it's going to get across the tape. And then 6 months later, it's still being negotiated on for whatever reason. So I think even if you were going to handicap it, even if, a lot of the bills that we thought were greenlit like last year or in the final years of the Biden admin, like ETFs and everything, everyone across the board, they were pretty much totally, ready to go. And then didn't Biden like veto some at his desk at like the very last minute for whatever reason? And everyone was like, those are like completely bipartisan. How would that ever happen? But you never know that the deal is done until the deal is done. I think that's especially true in crypto regulation. So is it priced in? I would say no, but we'll have to see what it actually does for price when it gets across the tape, because that always seems to be the question.
Yeah, and we don't even know what. I mean, crypto's down so bad right now. Nobody believes in crypto anyway right now. Like, even if we got perfect regulation, crypto's legal, go forward, people are still like, well, why do we even need crypto? Why do we need Ethereum? So it may be years, honestly, until we get like a real run of like, where's the value in crypto? Where's the value in ETH? I mean, let's hope. We all kind of predicted ETH at 10K this year, but it could take years or never. Like, who knows, man? And I almost don't even think it comes down to the regulation. Even if we've had so much bullish regulatory news over the last year, and it's been nothing but basically down only across everything but Bitcoin. So at this point, I don't fucking know. Please help me.
Please help me. Do you guys see yesterday the update on Claude? It seems like Claude is trying to become your everyday assistant, something called Cohort. So it can create things, crunch data, organize files, kind of like what Frank was doing with the cancel subscriptions, but you just upload files and link in your email and social accounts from all different aspects, and it just basically does everything for you. Singularity is coming closer every day.
I don't know, man. Is anybody else terrified about hooking in their emails and shit to these things, man? I'm separating this out. I'm not connecting in all my stuff just yet. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I did see that the founder was asked how much of Claude wrote this, and he said Claude wrote all of it. So, I mean, like the vibe coding, it's vibe coding, but it's actually, if you think about it, the code that the stage that Claude writes at now is probably better than 70% of programmers in general, I would say. I don't know. That's just like a shot in the dark, but something like that, Probably
So
going to be
here-
better than 90 soon. But yeah, go ahead.
Here I put the vibe coding infrastructure that should be live here in the next few days. We're just waiting for some final touches. But Adam, who's been using this, give us a rundown on what I can do with this thing.
Well, I mean, look, as I said, I haven't done anything kind of with like wallets yet. So I was just building simple stuff for myself to have like a web app on my phone. And give it a detail. The main thing is how you structure your prompt. That's for me is like always the thing. You just have to be really clear, but like literally like one-shotted. I don't know. I just wanted something. For example, when we do we do raid posts in Telegram, right? You copy the post, then you got to type raid, then you got to like delete after the question mark, all this sort of stuff. And every time it takes 15, 20 seconds. I just wanted to make something. Hey, let me just copy the link of what I want to create a raid in the Telegram for, paste it, and it adds in, shortens the link, adds in the raid thing, how many retweets, blah, blah, blah. And, dude, he made it in, I don't know, 2 minutes. The site made it, and it was live it's on my phone right now. That sort of thing. That's just baby stuff, right? But yeah, it works seamlessly, man. And better than like that other one that I was, I'm now paying $20 a month to fiddle around with.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
the thing. They get you on all these subscriptions. I now have like 80 subscriptions, probably, I don't know, at least for 1 month, because you have to kind of tour them before you can actually use them. Then they get you on the sub. It's pretty annoying. But yeah, I'm with you there, Adam.
And we're getting close to the EDP, just waiting on some final stuff. I don't know if I want to tease it today or if we should wait, but we do have some builders who have reached out already about using think of this, what we're showing here on the live stream is a retail focus on a development platform. So have you ever gone to, like, for those who are listening, just like, have you ever gone to the documentation of a crypto app and then it says SDK software development kit and you look at it and there's just a bunch of code snippets and bits and you're like, what the hell can I do with this? Right? I'm not a developer.
Yeah.
Think of this as like an interface to build and interact with all of that code in a software development kit or a development platform, which is a bunch of SDKs and APIs in one. And we basically have this connected to the SDK or the development platform, and then it just builds the stuff for you. Or you ask it what you can do. And with this, essentially, you can vibe code or build your own crypto apps, because what we saw with DuckAI is actually building something pretty similar, right? They use Turnkey as the wallet and login infrastructure, right? That'd be similar to what Privy is what Turnkey is. It's the same thing of what Emblem has, which we're releasing as well, right? It's a login system plus a wallet. Our wallets, I think, are much more comprehensive because we also can support Bitcoin, UTXOs, non-EVM or non-EVM SVM. But then we also have an AI agent tied into it. And that's basically what DuckAI did, is they took their own AI agent and they pinned it to Turnkey. We basically have just created the whole vertical infrastructure. We own the wallet layer, we own the login layer, we own the agent layer, where DuckAI only owns the agent layer, or something like Banker, they only own the agent layer, right? They're built on top of Privy. But we have the whole vertical thing. So it gives you a lot more exposure to build different things that you want. So if you want to build your own hustle prediction market app, then you can do that. And we're actually going to be reducing fees pretty drastically, right? So you have a 1% fee on our Agent Hustle site, but this is on the infrastructure level. So if you vibe code your own app, then you're only paying the infrastructure fee, which is something like 0.1 or 0.2% on trades, right? On transfers. So if you take I don't know, as Adam says, 5 minutes to vibe code your own app, you could save almost 80 or 90% on fees. And I think that's the general direction of where you want to go. Because what does venture capital look for? What does large institutions look for? They look for developer demand. But now essentially everyone can be a developer with vibe coding. Obviously, it's still a little bit rough around the edges, but all in time, if we could get all of our hustlers to build their own apps, then everyone's saving fees, right? It's also built on X402, so you're paying for your own inference costs, but you're only paying per prompt rather than having to pay a full subscription, which will be an interesting test of time, because historically people don't like the pay per credits. But if you're paying pay per credit but having a 80 or 90% reduced fees, then it kind of pays for itself. But also reduced fees plus being able to build out your own infrastructure around it. Take some things inside of Agent Hustle that you like. You could also tie in any other development tools that you want to build as well. So should be exciting times. We have the Zero Authority guys, I think, are starting to build on it. We've had some Rare Pepe people with different varieties reach out. Had some people reach out about building fungible token bridges, just different types of kind of crypto apps. Because at the end of the day, what is a crypto app? You have to have a wallet at the end of the day. And as Phantom said, Phantom CEO, right? Everybody's trying to be a super app, but you can't be a super app without the wallet layer, which is exactly what we offer.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
We gotta end this call so we can get back to fucking building.
He's like, I got a vibe code. I gotta
Let's go get some shit, bro.
But I don't know, man. I just think that it's a good time to be a product company with pretty mature products because they're only going to get better. And then that just increases the speed as to how quickly we can get new products to market. It's just a good time to be a builder in software, honestly, across all spectrums and expertise. This feels like the golden age of software development, unrestricted software development.
And what Cloud Code was what the recent Cloud Code update was for devs is what the rest of the world had a few years ago when ChatGPT 3 releases. That oh shit moment. In the last few months, seen all of our developers increase the output by multiples already. Like Shannon and Sammy and Bunzi and them have said some of the stuff they're building in a few hours is what would have taken them like a week to do about a year ago, which is just completely insane to think about.
Even if you just think about it from like a debugging standpoint, where is the glitch in this? Where's the hiccup? And running through like an entire piece or section of a code base just to find the error. Like, I mean, ChatGPT or Claude will find that in 30 seconds rather than sometimes you would spend days debugging, looking for the exact disconnect. The efficiency that's coming our way is crazy. And I think that we are in maybe this weird bubble in the corner of the internet somewhere. I don't know how much real people are using this. I haven't been outside in a few weeks, so maybe I should go outside. But I don't know if it's touching them, but I know that in the software circles, this is the real deal.
I shared with a few of my friends over the weekend. They were asking me what's an AI tool to build a website with. And I gave them Lovable. I think Replic's like the other one.
Yep.
And they were like, this is crazy. They both built landing pages in like a few hours. Or like, this would have taken me like a week to do. And these are just like normal people who don't know anything about AI.
You could do it in Claude in like 45 seconds. You could just say, build me this landing page. It'll literally drop a picture of it.
Yeah.
In 30 seconds. It's nuts.
Well, I was like, man, okay. We're finally in that era. I got to catch up. I'm gonna be excited to test some of the build with emblem stuff once we're ready. We have a few announcements here by the end of the month that we'll be making as well. So we're getting positioned. Everyone's getting positioned. We'll wrap it up here. We're going to help Trisig complete their migration here in the next 4 minutes. It'll be the first ever Meteora migration on the platform.
Let's go.
So congrats to the Trisig and also everyone who's coming out in this migrations. We've got a few excitements, things building. Until then, everyone stay safe. We'll be back here Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Until then, see you guys soon.
Later.